Hi, this is Richard C. I'm a math tutor at Wyzant, and I'm going to go through some fairly straightforward trig identities from trigonometry. Um, Once you get used to these, they're not so bad. When you're seeing them for the first time, it can be kind of intimidating. We need a few different identities to simplify this expression, and I'm going to collect them over here. Let me do this in red. I'm going to collect them in red here. So when we're done, you'll know that you have to have memorized these. The first one we're going to use is that the secant of an angle is just 1 over that cosine of that same angle. So we're going to use that right here in this first step, right here. Let me go back to black. So we have the cosine of 2x. Instead of writing secant of 2x, I'm just going to write 1 over cosine of 2x. You see, so that's where I'm using the identity. So instead of secant of 2x, this is secant x. It applies just as well to secant of 2x or secant of anything. The secant of anything is 1 over the cosine of anything. So let's just carry the rest of this. And so these cancel, and you're left with 1 minus cosine 2x. Now for the next step, we're just going to use another identity. I'm going to put it here in red, which is cosine 2x is equal to cosine squared x minus sine squared x. So that's called a double angle identity, and you would have seen this obviously because of the fact that the teacher assigned this to you. I'm going to use it right into this next step here, right down here. Go back to black. So this is going to be, we'll do substitution, subbing this in, minus bracket cosine squared x minus sine squared. Okay, now let's distribute the negative. So we're going to have 1 minus cosine squared x plus sine squared x. And then we're going to use one more identity, put it in red over here, which is the most famous identity, really. Oops, I didn't change that color. Having a little trouble with my colors here. Okay, so the most famous identity, this is called the Pythagorean identity. We can get into this another time. For now, I just want to solve the problem. Sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. So I'm going to use that in this next step. Because you see, if I subtract cosine squared x from both sides over here, I'm going to get sine squared x. So this thing here, 1 minus cosine squared x is just sine squared x. And then we'll just take this other sine squared x here. And now we can combine like terms, and you're left with 2 sine squared x. So this problem is really not that bad if you know your identities. So these are called the reciprocals, the cosecant, secant, and cotangent. You need to know your reciprocals. This is one of the double angle formulas. You need to know the sine of 2x, cosine 2x, tangent of 2x. And then this is one of three Pythagorean triplets, not triplets, Pythagorean identities, excuse me. This is one of three Pythagorean identities, and you should memorize these that I'm showing you here on the screen and also their cousins, because you need them all in order to be successful at trigonometry. But it's not that bad. It's what most students don't realize is that it's about algebra. It's not really about trigonometry. We're just using trigonometry symbols and quantities, but we're not. Well, all we're really doing is applying basic algebra in order to simplify this expression. So that's it for today. Good luck with your travels in trigonometry. Bye-bye.